we continue to have an unfair share of instability, insecurity, and challenges in our continent, whether it is terrorism, conflict, that is affecting our continent, and by extension, affecting trade, affecting investment, and doesn't give a very good picture of where we are. A case in point, yesterday I was in Juba to encourage our brothers in that country when they gave me an assignment to get the opposition to work with the government. I was very happy that we had a breakthrough yesterday. We are concluding the mediation there. Next week, we have the civilian groups meeting in Nairobi from our neighbors in Sudan to see what they can do about their country. Last week, we were in Bujumbura at a COMESA meeting to discuss how, whether as we do trade, how do we manage the issues in the Great Lakes region. We have issues in Sahel. We have issues in the Horn of Africa. So our peace and security infrastructure requires a rethink. We cannot continue the way we are continuing. I think the days of, the 20,000 AU peacekeeping force are slowly fading away. And we need, as Africa, to begin to take charge of our peace support mechanisms in our continent. I was very happy that last December, the UN resolution that now peacekeeping efforts led by AU will be funded by assessed contributions by the United Nations. That gives us more leverage. But the AU has to be better prepared to undertake this responsibility. There is certainly a very big case for us to make in reorganizing the AU Peace and Security Council, including the Peace Fund, and make it much more sustainable, and see how we can have greater say in the stability of our continent, because it is necessary for us if we have to attract investment and if we have to do trade. We have to stabilize, and there must be peace and security. On matters financing, I think we can be innovative in how we finance our organization. For example, let me give two examples. When we pushed the UN so that we passed this resolution I think it was 2719, it was another way of bringing sustainability into the peace operations of AU. If we can leverage on the UN and the assessed contributions in the UN to fund AU peace operations and the AU Peace Fund, it expands our horizon of sustainability. That's number one. Number two, you remember that in the last AU summit, our African financial institutions, Afrexim Bank, Trade Development Bank, ATI, AFC, I think there are 7 different organizations. They came to see me in Nairobi and they told me, look, we are African institutions, but we are not recognized by the Africa Union. We don't have the stamp of approval of the Africa Union as African financial institutions. We recognize the World Bank, we recognize the IMF, we recognize all the others, but our own African institutions, we don't. It is the reason why we sponsored the resolution for these organizations, African institutions, to be recognized as having the approval of Africa Union and all our countries. We have also made a decision as heads of state that we are going to buy more shares. Like, for example, Kenya, we are buying more shares in Afrexim, we are buying more shares in TDB, we are buying more shares because we need to support this institution because they support our economists.